welcome to the 2019 edition of the Ardsley Curling Club 5 and Under Cool Duck Bonspiel. From left to right, we have Sheet A, Sheet B, and Sheet C. We will be announcing the middle sheet, the A event final, between Nutmeg, headed by Jonathan Carelli, vice Jake Ness, second Brian Glatzel, and lead Paul Douglas. And they will be against Plainfield, headed by Rob Young at skip, Kate Trella at vice, Teak Washington at second, and Chris Springer as lead. On Sheet A, we have Nutmeg against Broomstones, and Sheet C, we have Ardsley against Bucks County. Sheet C is the D event final, and Sheet A is the B event final. All right, we have the coin flip, and it looks like Hammer was won by Nutmeg. So Plainfield will lead us off. Nutmeg. This is Paul Douglas with his first. Ardsley has a lot of people to thank here for this event. Cool Duck has become a big success for the 5 and Under circuit. It's a good primer for people to learn about the curling game, meet lots of new people, and prepare for other big events coming up in January, February later this year, or early next year. And it looks like Nutmeg is being aggressive early here, coming into the house. And equally aggressive is Plainfield, coming around the 12-foot shot. We want to thank Nick Beaton. We want to thank Dan Gerlach. Thank his lovely wife Susan and their little brand new baby for putting on this event this year. For the first time, the Cool Duck is up to 32 teams, and you had to be quick with the mouse to log in this year and register, because it was sold out within minutes. That's a good leave by Plainfield. Nice center guard. That's a good leave by Plainfield. Nice center guard. The man in the catsuit is John Carelli. No comment on the costume. And that's just going to push the guard over. For those people new to the game, you have something called the free guard rule. If the rock lands before the house, that is the target area, and beyond the hog line, it is in play. But you're not allowed to hit it out of play right away. You have to wait until the 6th stone in order to remove rocks from play. So that shot that was hit is legal because the red stone did not leave play. And here goes Teak with her shot. And that looks heavy. It might stop in the back. Yes, so back 12. Hard to tell from here, but it looks like red may be counting with that shot. Hard to tell from here, but it looks like red may be counting with that shot. It's typically hard to find the right weight in the beginning of a curling match, as they've just redone the ice, and it's generally slower in the beginning ends and speeds up as the game goes on. Every end is different, and the team that adjusts the fastest usually wins. And all three are sweeping this one because they knew it was light. So they have a second corner guard. That might help them. And now Plainfield is getting ready to start removing yellow stones. This looks like a hit and roll over behind the guards that were just thrown. Good delivery by Teak Washington. It's a little wide, and that has to get swept, and it is behind the guard. That's unfortunate for Plainfield, because that puts Nutmeg in the driver's seat. And Carelli knows that if he splits the house now with the hammer, he is going to have the upper hand. But it looks like he's going to throw another guard to make sure that they cannot remove that counting stone. Oh, he's changed his mind. Brian Glatzel's thrown a very good guard there. That rock is good and buried. Rob Young is a skip for Plainfield, and he's trying to draw around and outcount the yellow stone. And this is Kate's first. Kate has exhibited tremendously good draw weight this whole weekend, helping them get past a string of very tight games. She has to find the draw weight here. It's the ice is a lot slower than it has been, so that barely gets over the hog line. That's what they call that black line that runs across the bottom of the screen, and that is just in play. And it could present trouble for Plainfield, as that is going to be in the way of any future attempts to make it into the house. This is Jake Ness, second-year curler, vice for Nutmeg. And he is way wide on this one. That's going to be not a factor, but a good safe play because it doesn't get them in trouble either. Jake hails from New Haven, Connecticut. Wants to say hello to his new dog, Lucy, who's probably watching. And Kate really needs to remove this guard stone. If they're fortunate, she'll run it back into the counting stone in the house. But of primary importance is getting that yellow stone out of the way and making sure that her stone is also out of the way for a future attempt at getting that yellow stone out of there. She was a little wide with that shot. It's actually going to be a tricky shot for Nutmeg as they're trying to cross over the center line and throw a guard. Looks like he might be a little narrow, which means he is needing to have this swept. Looks like he's coming in. It's a very interesting leave here. This gives Plainfield a slimmer glimpse of hope. And I think John has to make his first major decision here. I'm sorry, this is Rob. Rob Young is in his 5th year curling. He's at his 3rd pool duck. This team, or versions of this team, finished runners-up in the D event last year, currently being played, and 2 years ago were runners-up in the A event. So this has been a strong team for many years. It looks like he's going for the hit here, and maybe if he hits it on the right angle, he can run it into the other yellow counting stone. Okay, he's hit that right on the nose, right in the middle of the yellow stone, and drove it straight back. This will be a pretty straightforward hit for Nutmeg. As John Carelli sets up his vice, Jake, with the broom. And he'll go down and try to knock this thing out of the way. Hopefully this yellow stone will stick around and create some problems for Plainfield. John is also in his 5th year curling, hails from Cromwell. Wants to say hello to his girlfriend, Sam, who's undoubtedly watching at home. That looks like it might get a nice roll behind cover, and it does. Beautiful shot by Carelli. That leaves Rob with basically one option, which is to draw around the 2 yellow guards and try to outcount the yellow stone that is residing in the 4-foot. The object for anybody new to the game is to get as many stones as possible closest to the middle. Currently, yellow has the first stone to the middle and the second stone. So if the end were to end right now, yellow would score 2. Rob Young has to try to save the end for Plainfield. And they are really sweeping this. That's got to curl, and that has got to get some legs. Every inch. Not bad. That is now second counting stone, so yellow is currently sitting 1. But it is open, so Carelli will have a chance to knock this out and score 3. One advantage that John's going to have is he just threw this shot, so they know the line and they know how hard he has to throw it. And that was good all the way. Carelli's really bringing it early here. That's 3 yellow. Carelli's really bringing it early. That's 3 yellow. So we have a lot of teams to welcome here this year with 32 teams at the Cool Duck. I want to thank Bucks County, Nutmeg, Cape Cod. Diamond State out of Delaware was here, as is Pinelands out of southern New Jersey. Diamond State out of Delaware was here, as is Pinelands out of southern New Jersey. Albany. Triangle made the trip from North Carolina. We're delighted to see them. Plainfield, of course, is here. Long Island is here. Ardsley, of course, has some home teams. Carelli again is playing aggressive. This is a good play. He's going to put it right, well, it's a little deep, but ideally it would have been probably in the 4-foot, right in front of the button, which would be the center of the house, and force Young to make a choice, whether to hit or to put up what it looks like he's going to do, a corner guard. Well, my mistake. He's coming down to it. So they don't want to hit this out because they need the backing. And that is really curling hard. They've got to actually sweep that so it's out of the way. This is Chris Springer's second. Chris is in his 3rd year curling and has been at the Cool Duck before. He hails from South Plainfield. And that is heavy. Chris really needs to find his weight. That'll stick around in the back, but it's hard to count when all your stones are behind what's called the tee line. It's hard to count when all your stones are behind what's called the tee line. Plainfield is always a wonderful club. We enjoy a good time with them. They're located in, obviously, Plainfield, New Jersey, right off of 287. 2-sheet club. Wonderful membership. Very successful. Wonderful membership. Very successful. And they travel well. They're always at every event. And they travel well. They're always at every event. That is a useful hit by Nutmeg. But it does allow Plainfield to begin to split the house. One stone on the other side of the house, and you have hammer. Provided everything goes as planned, which it never does, you end up with 2. That has to slow down. Looks like the ice might be speeding up here, which is typical in the second end. That has to slow down. Looks like the ice might be speeding up here, which is typical in the second end. It was a big miss by Plainfield. Now that gives Nutmeg the upper hand if they hit this. Plainfield has to be careful here to not panic. They've given up 3 in the first end, but there's obviously plenty of time. If they can get their 2 here in the second, it's anybody's game. This one's going through as well. Looks like both sides are having trouble reading the angle and the speed. As Rob Young lines up here. Teague's second shot, and it looks like a good one. They are now sitting 1 and 2, having successfully split the house. So Nutmeg gave him pretty much an opening there by that miss, and let's see if they can make it up here. You're gonna have to watch the jam, which means the red one backing into the yellow one and staying in the house. Is a beauty. Not only hit the red one out on one side, but he's pushed over the other red one on the other. Now this is an interesting call. Rob is asking for a difficult shot to freeze or to sit on it so that it's out. I wonder if maybe he was also thinking of a hit. Here's Kate's first. This is very much a touch shot. They are really on this. Hopefully they can just get it in the rings. It's difficult to read that ice. Kate and Rob will be participating in the Kaiser later this year, next year I should say. The Kaiser is being held February 12th that weekend at Triangle Curling Club. A fabulous club in the Triangle section of North Carolina. Delighted to see Triangle here competing and doing well. That's the second time Carelli's done this. These outside-in shots are hard, especially in the beginning of the match because there's a lot of frost on the outside parts of the sheets. Hard to get any traction and be able to predict any curl. We'll see if he adjusts his strategy because he's given Plainfield a lot of outs here. Sitting right in front of that yellow backing stone. So they are, I believe, 1, 2, and 3. We just flashed the scores up on the screen. It looks like Broomstones has hopped out to a big lead on sheet A over Team Nutmeg. And it is tight over on sheet C, 1-0. Ardsley's in the hole there against Bucks County. It looks like Carelli wants to draw here. That tells you a lot about his confidence in his draw weight. Let's see if he can make that happen. Big shot early on the way. Just a big curl on B right now. I misread that. The weight seemed good, so that's the good news, is he's got to feel confident that he can draw that 4-foot if needed. Just the broom was a little offline. And now let's see if Plainfield can close the door here and actually take the lead. They're calling hard online. It looks like this one is also over curling. And again, they pushed in that guard stone. It looks like red is 1, 2, and perhaps 3. So I don't know if that accidental promote did any damage to the score. It does move Nutmeg kind of in the way of being able to remove the counting stone with a later shot.
Hello. Wake up, everybody. We're here at the 15th annual Cool Duck Bonspiel.
And you can tell that Derek Kaiser has joined us in the booth.
Derek Kaiser, that guy's a dick. All right, who's playing, Jeff? We got the Ninja Turtles against somebody else. All right, who's playing, Jeff? We got the Ninja Turtles against somebody else. Oh, we got notes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna wing it. Is that Broomstones against the Ninja Turtles? Is that Broomstones against the Ninja Turtles? And who's on sheet A? Who's in the finals of the first? On sheet A. Any words coming out of my mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Can you answer a question?
I don't even know where to begin.
All right,
we could start by saying that this is the end of the second. This is a big shot here. They're trying to get multiple points here to try to at least tie this up. There's an opportunity here due to some misreading of the ice.
Doesn't look like this is going to make it.
And that's got to slow down before it does any damage. And that means 1 red.
Right, and then in a more important game on sheet 3, looks like our own Ardsley team is sitting 2 and up 1 in the second inning. The skip of whatever team they're playing against just threw his first shot.
So while we're at a break here on sheet B, we want to thank Dave Schroll, Tim Klein for doing the ice all weekend. Martin Sather's been here, the Iceman here at Ardsley, working hard. A whole team of people here. We've never had a Bonspiel, a Cool Duck this big, 32 teams. And everyone's been having a wonderful time. Nice timing, too, for us because it comes right across Halloween. So a lot of teams in the, when they had some time to wait, were able to partake in some Halloween activities in town. Sleepy Hollow's right up the road here. And a lot of Halloween festivities. For those not from here, Halloween's probably 3 times bigger than Christmas, depending on what town you're from, given the historical significance of some of these towns. The other nice thing is that we had daylight savings last night, so everybody got to an extra bonus hour.
Looks like Nate's coming down to throw a guard on his last shot at the end. He's sitting 2. Trying to steal the end here. And that's pretty not so bad.
Sheet B, that was a good take and lead by Paul Douglas. The lead for Nutmeg. Right on the nose. Paul's a second-year curler out of Trumbull, Connecticut. He wants to say hello to his sons. His sons were the folks who got him into curling in the first place. Trained by Jim Meinhold over in Nutmeg. And he wants to say hello to all of them and thank him for the opportunity he has to play this great game, and he's having a good time. So sometimes your kids do teach you things.
Sorry, guys.
As Plainfield lines up their shot here. Pretty much every game they've had leading up to this point has been tight. Sometimes the score sort of belies the story, but they started off with a few tough ends against the Broomstones team. They had one big end that carried them through. They were able to get past the Regala rink of Ardsley. You ask Rob, his toughest game was the Mahoney rink for Bucks County in the 3rd round. They were able to find their weight late in that game and won on the final shot. And if that wasn't enough drama, the game last night against the O'Reilly rink, currently being played on sheet C, also
who just
came down to
picked
the
up
last
2
shot.
points, stole 2 points on their end.
There you go.
Who just picked up 2 points, stole 2 points on their end.
So there are no laughers here for Plainfield. They earned every shot.
I just wanted to ask all of our listeners out there, or anybody else who's interested, November 23rd is a Saturday, 9 a.m. We're marching in the parade, the Thanksgiving parade in New Rochelle as the curling club. So I invite everybody to come out and volunteer to march with us. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great parade. They have the big balloons like they have at the Macy's Day Parade. In that parade, they have all kinds of stuff, floats, and they're going to have curlers this year for the first time. And some of our members are making a large curling stone to drag down the street with them. So it should be a great event, and hopefully everybody comes out and participates. And if you come out and march with us, you'll get a free Ardsley curling hat.
There's pancakes too, right?
Oh yeah, there's a free pancake breakfast at 8 o'clock at New Rochelle High School, given by the Chamber of Commerce in New Rochelle. So that's the best thing. That's the best idea. So get down there and load up with pancakes and get your stomach nice and full, and then march 2 miles. You won't have a stomach ache. You'll be fine. And then march 2 miles. You won't have a stomach ache.
Cheat B's basically trading hits here. So this, if all goes to plan here, which again, this is curling and it hardly ever does. We're going to have to make a decision whether to blank the end or not. So we're basically waiting for somebody to blink and maybe miss one of these hits, and that should change the strategy dramatically. And just as I say that, it looks like this one's a little light and is going to be promoting the yellow stone and now buried behind the red stone. So Nutmeg has just caught a break. Call this next shot, and then I want to introduce you to Joe Sablo, our president of Ardsley Curling Club.
How you doing, Jeff? John, how are you? A lot of stuff going on out there, and there's curling too.
I'm not sure what he's calling here. He might be trying to split the house early. Plainfield has the hammer, so it looks like that's going through. He's had trouble with his weight today. Joe, there's a lot happening at Ardsley with our lease and future of the club. I was wondering if you can brief the listeners or anybody out there from other clubs as to what's happening here.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yeah, we're getting really close. I mean, we're working really hard on getting the lease extended for a period of time. We still remain cautiously optimistic that we will get paper signed and we will be able to curl next year and continue the traditions of the Cool Duck and our other bonspiels and the great times and everything else that we have here at Ardsley. Also like to mention that we are still looking for a location, a new location for our club. Even if we do get an extension here, we want to see if we can expand. So we're going to be coming around and talking to all you guys out there from our club and from other clubs, and to try to keep curling. It's been here in Westchester since before the Civil War, and we should keep it here, and we should move ahead and do some great things.
Well, thanks, Joe. We do have a huge history of curling here in New York. It's a gigantic market for the sport, and we hope to. And we have every indication that we're going to be continuing. We're just not sure on the details. So we're optimistic for our immediate future. Ardsley Curling Club, incidentally, was founded all the way in 1932 as an outcropping of the Caledonian Curling Club, which started back in the late 1800s. And it has morphed into a number of different clubs coming together, including Ardwick's Curling, and St. Andrew's Curling, and still the Caledonian Curling. They all curl now out of the Ardsley Curling Club. This building that we're in right now was built in the 1960s on the grounds of the Ardsley Country Club, and has remained ever since. So we've had a lot of success here and had a lot of good times here. And Joe, when you do reach out to the other clubs, I hope we can get a good response. People that are fans of the game that want to see curling continue in a growth capacity here in a gigantic market of New York.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping to have that too. I think our friends and families out there in the curling world, curlers are a unique breed of people, and they come together and help out. And it's to keep the club and keep things going in the New York metropolitan area. It's something that I think that we really need to do and push, and we need to expand and grow. And with the sport the way that it's growing, I mean, there are clubs now in practically every state. The GNCC is up to 70 some odd clubs throughout the country, even down south. And it's a sport that if you get involved, like everybody knows, you get involved, you get hooked, and you're there for life, and you can play for life.
We've seen a lot of these clubs come here for this event. This is a very popular event from Delaware, and Virginia has a club here. They're called Curling Club of Virginia, but there's people hailing from the Richmond area. Roanoke is doing some work in Virginia. There was a team here from Rutland, Vermont, and it just continues to grow. And now you've got a lot of the big events this year for 5 and under. Both the Kaiser and the Dykes are being played in North Carolina. So obviously the GNCC does see these markets as growth markets, and we're all optimistic for the future of the game.
Yeah, there's tremendous growth and a tremendous transition too. A lot of the clubs are transitioning from arena clubs to dedicated ice clubs. And the difference between arena and dedicated ice is
night and day.
Is absolutely night. Yes, it's the best way to describe it. We encourage the dedicated arena clubs to come and play on dedicated ice. In fact, people from clubs in Brooklyn and Long Island, also some of them are members here and come and use our ice. We offer practice time for bonspiel teams and for people from Long Island to come up once a month and actually play on dedicated ice and get them hooked.
That's fabulous. This is Carelli's first on sheet B, and they are going to sweep this behind, which is actually a good move. You don't want to put those yellow stones together in case of a double. It looks like from here that yellow is now counting 1 with red behind the guard after a miss from Nutmeg earlier. So Plainfield has a chance here if they hit and roll behind cover to make Carelli draw for 1, which would be a huge win for Plainfield here early. Now for those new to the game, whoever scores in this end loses the hammer. The hammer is the last shot that's thrown, and obviously that's a huge advantage. So to be able to hold Nutmeg to 1 point here, only 1 point, and have Nutmeg have to give up the hammer to Plainfield is a win for Plainfield. And this is over curling, and it might not be able to stick around, and it will be swept out.
Well, to answer Seth's question, I'm just looking at the monitor. To answer Seth's question, Derek had to step away from the mic for a moment. He will be returning shortly.
There's a bar behind us. Could that be part of the problem? There's a bar behind us. Could that be part of the problem?
Two, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the same as the last. 2, 3. Lights better.
All right, so this is Carelli's second.
I want to do another shout out to Seth Altman, who is manning our booth at the Irvington's Farmers Market this morning. I understand he had a great time and good weather, as a matter of fact, too. So thanks again, Seth.
You could tell from that delivery that John is still having a little trouble trying to figure out the weight. Kind of slowed himself down there and gave it a little bit of a push at the end. And now he is staring eagerly at this shot as it might go a little deep. Let's see if Kate can make that go away. There's good sweeping there. So it looks like red is still counting stone. I think Carelli knew as soon as he let go of that was going to be trouble. So that is a steal for Plainfield, and it is now tightened up to a 3-2 game heading into the 4th end. This is Chris Springer's first. And he's hopeful to be able to throw what are called guards. They're kind of like pawns in chess. They just sort of get in the way and make you ready to maybe hide behind these shots in future attempts. But this one may just make it over the line. And
Looks like
it
it just made it over the line.
It was good sweeping by Plainfield.
Excellent effort.
A lot of these teams, this 5 and under teams in particular, they haven't had a lot of time to curl together. And it's really important to have a good team chemistry, not just that you like each other, but that you are able to communicate well during the shot. So on that last shot, they knew pretty much right away that it was light because the thrower said it was light. The sweepers got right on the broom, and they notified the skip that it was going to be light. So the communication on that shot, even though it didn't do what they wanted to do, is a positive outcome for Plainfield.
That's true, Joe. It is a team sport. In fact, every member of the team works on each shot. Everybody has their importance in their position and their job to do.
And let's see if you can put a little more weight on this one. Oh, that's a big curl, Joe. Look at that. It's going to promote the yellow one into the rings. So if it were to stop right now, Nutmeg would be counting 1. It's a break for Nutmeg.
Over on C, it looks like Ardsley is sitting 4 at this moment in time.
Bucks has the shot stone on C.
On C? Oh, yeah. Sorry, it was hidden from me.
Right up there.
Oh, hey. Hey, there's a screen right there. How about that?
All right, so this is an aggressive play by Rob. He's trying to draw around the yellow stone. This is a good call because even if Teak is a little short here, you get some rocks in front of the house. Looks like she gave that one a pretty healthy shove. Let's see if this one can slow down. It's certainly curling a lot, Joe. It's hard to read the amount of curl. It looks heavy. It looks like a race to the house here, Joe. So whoever makes this shot first. John is taking a little bit less ice here. He must have seen something from Plainfield's shot.
It's starting to move.
You really got to jump on this, Joe. He's going to. Oh, just.
That splits the 2 in. So.
It's a good leave. Now, what's your shot here, Joe? What would you attempt?
Actually, I either put something in a little deeper, or actually, I think what they're trying to do is draw at this point in time. There always is the double takeout if you can get to that, but it's a little difficult to get.
Looks like the Plainfield rink is playing it safe and just doing their draw game. This is not a surprise. You know, they've been in so many tight games, and I think a lot of it is because of what they view as their strength, which is their draw game. You know, speaking to Rob earlier, you know, all of their games are tight. It's very much I think a GNCC thing, Joe, where you've got a lot of just drawing and drawing and drawing, and John has always been able to, Rob has always been able to catch a break and make a few good shots when he needed to get through these to this point. By the way, we'll be dedicating the next end to anybody who wants to write in and make fun of Rob Young. This is by request. So whatever you want to say to him, the next end is dedicated to abusing Rob Young. Rob hails from New Brunswick, which is the home of Rutgers University, the worst college football D1 team in the country, so you can start there. Looks like he's trying to draw one here through the port. The other thing, Joe, that a lot of these curlers are learning this week when you've got really swingy ice like this is you've got to put a more what's called a positive turn on your release. So instead of what's called a lazy handle, where the stone might twirl, say 2 times on the way down the ice, you've actually got to hook it a little bit more, just a touch, so that it turns 4, 5, 6 times on its way down the sheet, so that it runs a little straighter. And you can see there that while her weight was close, they could have swept that in. It once again did over curl, and I think it's because she's putting a lazier handle than she should.
On, yeah.
Tim Klein is leaving the building. Iceman extraordinaire and winner of the banana raffle. This is a pretty straightforward shot here. He's just going to run the lead stone back. And he's done that, and he's actually rolled over a little bit. Now remember, Nutmeg, the yellow, has the hammer, so it's in their best interest to protect the counting stone, which they've done, and also try to leave the middle open so that for Carelli's last shot, he can have a clear shot to draw for counting stone. Noticing over on sheet C that Bucks was able to save that end. There were a lot of garbage, yellow stones in the way from Ardsley, but Bucks was able to score that point, and maybe that will keep them in the match a little bit, and they can have a good end and tighten this up a little bit. But on sheet C, it's been pretty dominant for the O'Reilly rink. Sheet A has been more of a back and forth affair. Broomstones came out to a big lead in the first end, I think because Nutmeg was having a little trouble reading the speed of the ice. But since then, it's been Nutmeg scoring one in the second and then stealing again in the third. And that's just a mistake by Plainfield. You know, they came in pretty hot and heavy on that shot. Rob was hoping for a rub and have it to stick around. By rub, I mean just bounce off of that yellow stone and slow its speed down, but it was just a miss. This is the second stone for, I believe this is Jake. He's got that, dips his toe up in his delivery. He's only on his toes. He does not have his heel down. It looks like this is going to stop in a good place up high. I would have imagined, Joe, that they wanted that a little deeper. But it is up top, and they might be able to promote it should Plainfield give them the opportunity here. Kate's got the broom, and Rob is getting ready. Kate's got the broom, and Rob is getting ready. I'm sure there are a lot of people at Plainfield watching right now. Hello to our friends there. A lot of improvements in that club recently. They're a two-sheet club. They're looking to expand. They've got about 200, 250 members. And they're putting in a lot of updates. So if you haven't been there in a while, if you've attended an open house but haven't come back, it's a new place. Shots away. Joe, I'm not sure what the call there was, but the result is probably not what he was expecting. It looks like Nutmeg is buried back there, although you could probably double those two out. But they are now counting, it looks like 3. Maybe 2.
I think just 2.
Yeah, 2. And as Carelli goes down, and what do you think the shot here is? A guard, or is he going to try to promote that yellow one?
Well, they're sitting 2. They have the hammer, so I think that they could either move move the red out, possibly, or draw in, get another stone in, get some guards up too.
There is a lot of curl. They could push that red back, but I'm wondering if they'd be able to have enough weight to do it. Looks like based on where the broom is that he's trying to just gum up the middle a little bit, since he's in a advantageous position. Shots away.
Yeah, it's starting to move, and it's going to pop right into the hole and guard that spot.
It's really over curling.
Yeah.
And they've been sweeping these lines late today, Joe, and this has been a common theme throughout the weekend as I've watched. It's hard to anticipate some of these curls, and
But what we've noticed too is that once it does start to break, it starts to break hard.
Yeah, for sure. You almost got to jump on these ahead of the break, and they're waiting for it to start breaking before they sweep, and that oftentimes results in a wide shot. Okay, well, Plainfield's got to make a shot here. And it looks like he's trying to draw through that port. That's a lot of ice, even for today. You've been there, Joe, I know, but as a skip, when you sit down there and you've got to throw your shot and it just looks like the war zone, you kind of start to wonder what happened. And he can still bail him out here with a good effort. Looks heavy. So he's pushed his redstone a little bit further up, but I don't think enough.
Might be enough to be counting third rock, but
yeah, I think yellow is now 1 and 2. If my eyes are good enough. Yellow is now 1 and 2. And this is almost like bonus curling here. If you're Nutmeg, you could just basically put this anywhere in the 8-foot or the white area and score 3. So Nutmeg has another chance here to put up a real haymaker here against Plainfield and go up 6-2. But let's see if he could put enough weight on this, Joe, because he's got that broom way out on the outside. Stumbled out of the hack there.
It's out in the frost, out in the weeds, out on the sideline. It just seems to be drifting, not coming back.
Boy,
It just sort of hangs out there.
Yeah, boy, you're right. So, 2 yellow. It's Plainfield dodging a bit of a bullet there. They did give up 2. but it's still very much a ball game. 5-2 heading into the fifth end. Joe, do you see what's going on the other sheets?
No, at the moment I was just trying to read what's going on the screen here.
Well, as we set up on sheet B, Nutmeg will have the first shot. This will be Paul Douglas's shot here, second-year curler.
Yesterday we will mention the Big Apple Bonspiel in March, March 19th through the 22nd. It is an open format, and it was our last Bonspiel of the season. Also to mention the Empire State Women's in January 16th through the 19th. The registration is open now, and also the McKay Douglas, which will be, I believe, it's the 84th. 83rd.
It's more than that.
No, I think it's around there, which will also be at the end of February. With leap year, I believe it's the 20th through the 23rd, but I'm not quite sure. Just again to mention the Thanksgiving Day Parade on November 23rd. New Rochelle, come early, get a hat, march in the parade, and promote the club.
Thanks, Joe. Just a word on the Empire State Bonspiel coming up here next in January. This is a women's-only event. It is the 66th running of the Empire State. It was started almost in protest of country clubs not allowing women to be members. And back then, most of the curling clubs were like this one, part of golf country clubs. So women got together and they said, we're going to have our own Bonspiel, and it's been going on ever since. The Empire State is named that because all of the clubs in New York State share the Bonspiel. It moves from club to club to club. So Ardsley hosts it every 5th year. This is our turn this year. So if you know any curlers, new, old, in the middle, it doesn't matter. It's really a celebration of women's curling, and we invite you all to come, and it's fun. This year is a rock and roll theme, and we'll take good care of you here. So the Empire State coming January 16th to the 19th. Just go online to ardsleycurling.org to find the registration for all of these events. .com. Joe, the ice is changing a little bit. They're starting to slow down. A lot of these shots are coming up shorter than they want. This is Brian Glatzer's first. 4th-year curler out of Stamford, Connecticut. Wants to say hello to his parents who are watching. So hello. And he has also crashed the guards. A lot more curl there than I think they realize. But it's a good miss because Nutmeg has the lead and they're trying to gum up the front. This is a good strategy move overall because Plainfield is the one that needs to score. And Plainfield also has the hammer, which is the last shot of the end. So Nutmeg needs to do all it can to make that last shot hard on Plainfield. Here's Teak Washington. She's going to try to draw around. Let's see if she can put enough weight on this.
It's starting to break. It looks like it might just crash on the guy. Yeah, it's starting to break.
Well, those shots are really hard, Joe. You know you got to stretch out to that broom, and that center line just is speaking to you subconsciously, making you want to slide down the center line. But it's a meaningless line. You've really just got to focus on the broom and stretch out to the broom and hit that broom and just trust it. And it's so hard to do that on those outside shots.
Yeah. So 8, 9. 8, 9.
Sheet A really has a lot going on here. They're still an end behind. It looks like yellow is counting, and here comes the second Yellowstone, and it looks like it is going to just tick the guard and roll away. So right now, it looks like red is sitting with a potential big end. Looks 2 right now, but they have the shot. This game could really turn depending on this end. It really. Trying to think if there's another yellow on its way on sheet A. I don't see.
Yeah, there is.
There is. Okay. So yellow's going to have one more chance to salvage.
Yeah, red, actually, red has hammer, I believe.
Red has had hammer since the second end, or third end. The shot is away for Nutmeg on back on sheet B. And again, Joe, this one is over curling and is going to crash the guard. This is the theme of this game.
Might get by. Nope.
And again, it's light. Again, it's almost like they can't believe what's happening, and they just keep repeating the same mistake. A common refrain in this game, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know that shot. I've made it before.
Just did it last week.
I've missed that shot many a time, and I think we'll try it again.
Just going to follow what's happening on sheet A here. This is a turning point in this match. So red is away. Broomstones.
It's moving toward the middle, slowing down. Might do it a little tap, move one in. And yes, it does.
That's a beautiful shot.
Nice shot.
So now yellow is really in trouble. And not only did they tap that up successfully to count 3, yellow has only a small port to draw through to try to salvage the end.
This will be yellow's last shot.
This would be.
Yeah, makes it not in a good position here.
This is Nate Holmes' shot here for Nutmeg. And this is big. I believe it was Nate that regaled us with the Scottish national anthem last night. I don't think I want to hear that again.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Did anybody get that on video so we could repost it?
We should have.
Yeah.
Back on sheet B while they discuss things on A. Nutmeg is coming down to sit on the back stone of Plainfield, and it looks like it's going to be close.
And it looks a very good shot.
It's nice when something you call actually works out. Those are ticklish little shots, very, very complicated, but they had the line right, they had the weight right, and now they've got a shot that's counting with backing. So it's not going to be easy to knock that yellow one out anytime soon. All right, looks like Nutmeg is lining up their shot here. And again, you see that communication between the skip and his sweepers, trying to figure out what to do, when to sweep, giving some information.
Not sure what the call is on A. It's
They've got the broom in a very different spot than I would have imagined. I would have thought they've gone for the draw, but instead they've got the broom lined up as if they're going to try to hit that outside stone.
And roll in.
And man, that is a hard one.
And it's also a lot of ice for that shot. Unless they're just trying to cut them down.
Maybe. No one, by the way, is making fun of Rob Young. You know, you make a simple request.
I'm not asking for much.
Where is Plainfield when you need him? Where is Plainfield when you need him? well, actually worked out on sheet A, Joe, because he did make that shot, but he's left it wide open for a hit. But this is a difficult hit here, right along the wall. He's got to throw the right amount of weight. This is probably Brendan making this shot, one of the turtles from Broomstones. He can't overthrow this, because if he does, it's going to go right to the wall.
And again, it's out by the wall. It's going to be a little frosty and a little clingy to the wall out there.
Yeah, but this is, if he makes it, he is really going away here. Looks like he's got a good weight on this.
It looks good.
It'll show up on the screen here in a moment. They are calling for line. And he has.
And he could have shot himself in the
foot. Ticked it over. And that is going to go out. Well, he did it.
With all those red rocks in, he only picked up 2, it looks like. But two is fine.
Yes, but you got to go for that shot. You know, it was interesting what Nutmeg was doing, you know, taking that hit. They did end up being counting stone, which is nice. Got to think if he was confident in his draw weight, he would have drawn through that port, but you know, the ice is so hard to read right now. It's a little bit daunting. So we turn it over to sheet B, back to sheet B. It was a miss by Plainfield, and Nutmeg is still sitting 1 in the back of the house.
And sitting pretty tightly guarded from back there. From where we're sitting, it looks like it's hard to get to. But the draw is still there. I mean, the draw for the 4-foot draw to the button is possible.
Jake Ness is holding the broom. Interesting story with Jake. He grew up in Minnesota and moved here in 2006. Started following curling right around the same time, but never really got around to joining until 2 years ago. Now he wished he would have done it sooner. Looks like a good delivery by John. And they are letting it ride. This is either means it's a good shot or it's heavy.
Looks like he's going to pull a guard out of it.
And he is going to guard for sure. Yeah, that's short.
It's good being safe. I mean, with the lead that they have at this point in time, it's definitely worth just sort of sitting tight.
All right, it's going to be a race to the 4-foot, Joe. We'll have to see what Rob is able to do here.
And from what you were saying before, as far as trying curling and getting involved in curling, a lot of people watch. They, oh, it's something I really want to try to do and everything, and they never get out. But they should try and come out. We're having our open houses, I believe, next weekend. You can go onto the website, ardsleycurling.com, and check that out. Sign up for an open house, get a little taste of it. And once we taste it, you sort of get hooked.
You do. And all the clothes.
No. Shoot this.
A little better, probably 5, 4, 5, 3, 4.
Just do a Google search and look up your local curling club. They're all doing open houses pretty much all the time. Just call them up, email them, whatever you want. It's a very open and inviting atmosphere, and you meet a lot of great people. So Rob came up short there, I believe, and that'll be another point for Nutmeg. And it is now 1 in the 5th, so 6-2. Nutmeg on top.
Yeah, on sheet C, Ardsley is up. It's 4-1. And then they're starting the 5th end.
Here's another mistake on line call, Joe. You know, the weight was there. The sweeping was there. They knew what to do. But, you know, you want this to be more in the middle of the sheet. And it's off on the left side. Not the end of the world, but just goes to show that the teams are still having trouble reading the break. Paul Douglas's shot is away. I'm sorry, that's not Paul. That's Chris Springer. Sorry, Chris. That
Still
might come
moving,
around nice.
It's going to come in and just bite.
Might come around nice. So that's in the 12-foot. That's what they call the blue ring, 12-foot, because it's further away. The white ring is the 8-foot, and the red is called the 4-foot. So when we use that terminology, that's what we mean. But it's still peeking out from behind that guard, so it looks like Nutmeg's going to try to hit it out.
Well, they're going to crash on it, move theirs up, split theirs out. Now they took out their own stone.
Which is fine. They're allowed to take out their own stone during the free guard rule zone. That's okay. And that actually helps them because now the red stone is open. Just taking a look over at sheet C, it looks like there's 3 red that are counting. So Team O'Reilly needs to work some magic here to get back in this end. Otherwise, this is going to be a nice comeback end for Bucks County. And the shot is away on sheet C. Let's see what the call here is.
Yeah, looks like it's a guard.
It's coming down now over the hog line. It looks a little light and maybe a little off line.
On that,
yeah, there we go again with the overcurl.
Leaves an opening there for Nate to either draw in or for a hit.
It looks like Nate O'Reilly is lining up for the laser beam takeout on the counting stone all the way on the 4-foot. And let's see if
stone is off.
It's Nate's lovely wife, Meg, is putting it right on the broom, it looks like. And let's see if she can sneak in there. Oh, and she has.
And
what a terrific shot.
Excellent shot.
Oh, and she has. What a terrific shot. Excellent shot.
Control, good control.
It is open for Bucks to hit back. But at least Ardsley's back in the hunt here on sheet C. The shot is away on sheet B.
Nice takeout.
And yes, that is going to be a takeout. What would you call here, Joe, on sheet B? It looks like he's just removing the red stone. I guess his theory is they're winning, they're playing the scoreboard. Just get rid of anything that's red that can hurt them later.
I think that's exactly what he's trying to do.
And sheet C just bouncing back and forth here. Bucks has made a good shot.
And it does, and he's sitting up on top.
Okay.
So you do want to, yeah. When you don't have the hammer, you do want to clog up the front as much as possible. So.
O'Reilly's lining things up on sheet C. Meg's got the broom. This is going to be his first. And he does not have the hammer. So not only has he going to try to hit this counting stone, he probably wants to stick around and count. He has a chance to get 2 here if he hits it just off to the left side of that stone.
Oh, actually, there's 3 sitting there. So the triple is always there, though.
Famous last words. like Nutmeg is now drawing in Joe on sheet B. Shot is away on sheet C. Meg is counting the line and just missed the double, but hit the counting stone. They really need Bucks County to miss. Bucks hasn't been missing much here recently in this end. This could be a big comeback for Bucks.
So Nutmeg puts up another guard. So the center is pretty well clogged up. Plainfield's going to have to draw to the outside.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Plainfield. You know, Kate has been a good draw weight down the middle, but, you know, coming in from the outside here, this is going to be really hard for her. We'll see if she can put enough weight on it and have it not over curl. This is where the sweepers really come in handy. They've got to be able to read the stone. It's already moving. It'll come onto your screen here in a minute.
And it's really taking a dive. And it's slowing up.
Wow, that's really, really light.
And it's coming through. Oh my God, good sweeping. They pulled a biter out of it.
That was a good plan B by Plainfield. Kate got it right in there tough, and I don't think they're digging that out anytime soon unless they start removing cards. And that is what John is going to do. What a shot by Kate. What a good call by Rob to get that in as a plan B. Look at this toe delivery. I'm always amazed at that. Have cleared out that guard. That was tight to that redstone, but they did manage it. All right, let's come over to sheet B or sheet C. O'Reilly is lining up. It looks like he has a chance to double out the red stones and sit 3. But this is a really tough shot, Joe. He might be able to hit one of them out and jam on the back one, but he really needs to keep his Yellowstone in play and hopefully roll over towards the middle.
And keep it high as well. So
this end is really swinging back and forth hard right now in sheet C. Very, very important end. And he's throwing a draw, it looks like. So I was wrong.
Ah.
He is got to get this over the hog line. And they are sweeping like mad. And they are trying to throw a guard, and if it makes it, it'll be a guard, but it's got to make it. Oh, and he is, that is a big miss.
Just comes up short.
And Nate does what all people do when they miss a shot like that. He just slides away from the rest of his team.
And hides under the stairs.
That is the one thing you can't do there is come up short. You know, and it's almost something that every team has to talk about before you throw the stone. You certainly want to have your weight down. You certainly want to know what your timing is to put it to where you want to put it. But in the back of your head, you've always got to be thinking, is it better for me to be too heavy or too light? And I think in this case, too light is worse. And here comes
redstone is off.
Redstone is off, and it looks like they're going to be right on your counting stone. This is a pretty straightforward takeout at this point. And they've got it, and it's a great break for Bucks County for 3. So that game tightened right up. Congrats to Bucks County. Might be 3. They're looking at it now. Tightened right up. Congrats to Bucks County. So it's all tied up on sheet C. It's all tied up on sheet C. Well, Jeff Greenberg's here joining us now. Joe is taking a bit of a sabbatical. Jeff is a board member here at Ardsley Curling and is also manning the booth, spelling John Schuster. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
Jeff is one of these people that everybody should know because he knows how electronics work.
Well, sometimes.
He's a handy guy, loyal curler. And sheet B is shaping up to be a home run for Plainfield. It's a pretty fast end. We've been announcing sheet C here, but in the interim, Plainfield has really been hitting hard. And now John has his work cut out for him here. Plainfield really needs this end. They're down 6-2. And there's something about being behind, Jeff, that just kind of makes you bear down even harder.
Yeah, Rob really could use a big end here. I believe John is looking at the tap up on that yellow.
That's a tough shot. He's got to get around that guard and curl enough and tap it almost on the nose. That's difficult. It's got to be perfect weight, and the judgment by the sweepers has to be pristine.
His line looks pretty good.
It is starting to curl now, but it looks
a little
like
light.
they're really sweeping it hard.
Yeah, and it looks like it may have reversed. Or
All right, Plainfield's got to be really feeling good now.
yeah, this is shaping up to be a good end for them.
Rob is telling Kate what he wants to do. You know, this conversation between the skip and the vice is also very important. You know, the vice's job here is to point out all the options to the skip in case the skip is missing something and make a recommendation. But ultimately, the skip has to feel confident in what he's doing, and it's the skip's game. So he'll make a decision, which he's done. He's now making his way back. And Kate's job is to now get behind that shot and be positive, almost like a caddy in golf.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to draw another one in. I think Rob was contemplating trying to split those in, trying to split that corner guard in.
Shot is away. Kate is lining it up here. It looks close.
Going for the in-off.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jeff. He's going to in off the red, and he's nosed
He's
it.
a little wide.
Yeah, he's nosed it. All right, well, that was a lot of weight, too, Jeff. I don't know if he needed to throw it that hard, but I guess he felt like going through that frost was going to be a problem, so he was better heavier than light.
Yeah, true.
But it is a big end for red. Plainfield scores, I believe, 3. So this game is also tightened. This is going to be a very interesting final set of 3 games. They're all close.
Sheet C is all tied up at this point in time. In the 6th end.
So we should remind everybody about the Empire State Bonspiel coming up, the McKay at the end of February. The Big Apple is also a big event here at Ardsley that happens March 19th to the 22nd. And that event fills up pretty quick, too.
It does. It fills up. It's a lot of people. We get people from all over again. Those of you who are over 5 and under. Is that right? Over 5 and under?
Over 5 and under.
Who have
over 5 and under. That actually works.
Can still come back to Ardsley and have a fun time and a fun spiel. It is an open.
And we love seeing you. And if anybody needs, help, places to stay or things to do, if you haven't been to the New York City at all, it's a train ride away. It's definitely a thing you've got to do at least once in your life. So we hope to see you down here at Ardsley this year, or 2020. Also want to pass on our congratulations to our C event winner, Bucks County. Steffenhofer pulled off the win this morning against Team Albany as the runner-up. It was a tough team. They had some trouble early on, and then they were able to pull off a nice string and win the C event.
Thank you, Seth. Pointed out we had up the Big Apple from last season on the screen. We apologize for that. The Big Apple in 2020.
It's a beautiful shot over on sheet C. A knockout, counting stone. And now Bucks County is lining up to hopefully, it looks like they're trying to draw through the port here. Can we move the scoreboard over, Jeff? Trying to see the guard stones here.
I can take the scoreboard away.
Okay, that's sheet A there on your left, and sheet C is on your right. So you can see on sheet C that there's a bit of a port there to draw down into. They made a good shot, Ardsley did, to be the counting stone. And remember, Ardsley has the hammer. This is the sixth end, and Joe, the sixth end is always pivotal because these games go 8. So you probably want to take at least one here in the sixth end if you're Ardsley, in order to plan to have a hammer in the 8th end in a close game like this. Oh, this is a beauty. Look at this, Joe. Right down onto the button. Things just got very interesting on C. It looks like yellow is still counting, so O'Reilly is going to guard it up. What do you think of this call, Joe? At this point, it looks like O'Reilly's playing for 1. This is Meg O'Reilly's first shot, and it looks like a lot of weight.
Looks like it's going to be in. It's going to be through the hole, maybe a little tick on the red. It's coming in almost down to it. And it settles almost down to it.
It's gonna be over curled a little bit. I don't know how much that helps him. All right, let's switch back to sheet B here, our feature event. Nutmeg is still up 6-5. Big comeback end in the 6th end by Plainfield. So again, they've got the hammer in the 6th, and they're going to have it in the 8th if everything goes to form. So I would say Plainfield might have the advantage at this point, being down 1. But we'll see how this end shapes up. Really big end for Plainfield in the 6th. And this is Teak Washington's shot. Teak is from New York City. Goes out to Plainfield. It's a little bit of a quicker commute for her there than it is to Ardsley. I asked her who she wanted to say hello, and she said all of her friends at Plainfield Curling Club. That's a pretty good lead, Joe. It's kind of right there in the way of everything. And now it looks like Nutmeg is going to try to double it out.
It's off. Sweepers are on.
This is
A little on the outside. It looks like he only will get 1.
This is Brian's shot, and yes, he's going to get the main stone out of there. It's not a bad play. You would have liked to have stuck around in the house, but the main goal has been accomplished. Just switching over to C really quickly. They are half an end behind our feature game. It looks like Ardsley is still trying to guard that counting stone with all their might. And this one might work out to be just fine if it stops right there in the port. And that might be enough. It might be enough. All right, we are now at Vice Rocks on sheet B. This is Kate's first. And this has become a pretty wide open end here. This benefits Nutmeg. And she has left it pretty wide, Joe. And it's going to come. It's going to probably make the rings. Oh no, it's going to stop. That's a big mess. Big miss. Miss and a mess by Kate. This will be Jake Ness's shot. We'll watch Jake's shot while they talk things over on sheet C.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's right on the nose.
Right on the nose.
It's beautiful. Boy, it's nice when everything works out.
It's good when the plan does come together.
Good shot, Jake. Good shot, Jake. Okay, looks like sheet C has made a decision.
What, C? C is perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, C is off. We are not sure of the call here. It looks like he's trying to just run guards back.
Red to yellow to red.
Oh no, he's coming in through that little port there. And it's a big curl, and that's a great shot.
Oh, wow.
Right through the port and right onto the button, just about. Beautiful. And it looks like red is now counting.
With a mess of stones in there, too.
Wow.
Very
what a
shot.
shot. That's the shot of the game over on sheet C. Beautiful. Those are the kind of shots, Joe, that just they win the game for you. You know, the other team has to just kind of try to hold them to one or something like that and try again next end and just forget it happened. But, you know, it's hard because they felt like they were in control and then all of a sudden they weren't.
Yeah, it looks from here, it looks virtually almost impossible to get in there somehow and get it out.
Yeah, I think the O'Reilly team here wants to bend time a little bit, try to get a different angle. I don't think there's one there. Meanwhile, on sheet B, while they're thinking it over, yellow is counting, I believe, 2. I'm not sure the top yellow one is in the rings.
I believe it is.
Oh, it is.
It looks like it is. From,
okay, so they are
the
3.
view.
But here's the thing, Joe. The 2 stones are behind the tee line, behind the button, so there's going to be ample opportunity for Plainfield. Draw down, maybe to the top of the 4, and just leave it there. If he hits here, he's giving Nutmeg a chance to just
Take
keep
one.
hitting
Yeah.
and perhaps take one. So if this is a hit, I really have to disagree with his call. I think a draw is in order, and try to get a bigger end. Remember, yellow, Nutmeg has the hammer.
And also remember that this is a 5 and under.
Well, shot is away.
And
it looks like it's going to just tap. He's going to get one out. So he's got a result that he wanted. We'll see if Nutmeg can capitalize here and put up a guard. See, if he would have drawn in and just stuck in there, he would have had a lot more options. Plainfield would have. And you get those stones behind the tee line. That's almost an invitation for somebody to sit on top of you. O'Reilly's shot is off on C. I just want to see what he's eventually tried to do here. It looks like maybe an S curl is in for. This is so difficult.
He's drawn in. He's going to tap.
Oh, he went right.
Oh.
He's going right through. Right through.
Oh, no, I think he might have tapped the red
and he has tapped the red in. Is that too red?
Yeah, that looks from here to be too red on the overhead cam.
Oh, well, he did go for it. We got to give Nate some credit there, but.
And I was just going to say, worst case, he at least gets the force of one.
No, that wasn't the worst case.
No. He found a worst case.
Well, there's 2 more shots here. So Bucks is up now with their final skip stone, and O'Reilly's going to have another chance. We're going to have to get some advanced geometry out here for these last 2 shots. Okay, on sheet B, we've got Young lining up his first, I believe. Rob, as we said earlier, hails from New Brunswick. Pretty easy commute over to Plainfield. Looks like he's drawing, Joe.
The call looks like.
We're looking at it very carefully. This could be close. Sweepers are now off, which means it's probably heavy. And he's got to try to rest it on the back yellow stone, not at an angle. And it's just at an angle. It looks like maybe Nutmeg might have a chance to tick this out. And in reality, Joe, they should probably just smash it, and whatever happens, happens.
At this stage, I would think that would be the call. They have a biter up on top. If they lose both of the stones in the back, or even lose the shooter as well, it doesn't really matter.
Meanwhile, on sheet C, Bucks has decided to just throw it into the wall in their last shot. They don't have a shot, and now it's up to O'Reilly to work out some magic here with the final shot of the end. Pretty simple end here for Nutmeg, Joe, on sheet B. The Plainfield's left it pretty much wide open. You know, once they did that hit on the back 2 stones, I think it became a very open end for Nutmeg the rest of the way. Easy for them to, at worst, hold Plainfield to 1. You've got to expect the way that John has been playing that he will be able to make this shot. You never know. But this is not a difficult takeout. And he is wide. Hopefully it'll curl a little bit.
It's a touch wide, but I think it might get
and he's got it. He's got it. Good shot.
And
he's going to stay in, but doesn't really matter at this point. So Plainfield is in a world of hurt here. That was 3. 3 in the 7th.
And it looks like handshakes.
And that's it. That is it. We have the winner of the 2019 A event final Cool Duck. It is going to be Nutmeg. Jonathan Carelli, Jake Ness, Brian Glatzel, and Paul Douglas. Congratulations from all of us here at Ardsley and all the GNCC teams that were here. Great, great tournament. Great, great win. Dominant win. Congratulations again. A great effort by Plainfield to make it this far. You know, they've been so close for so many years. This is the second time in the last 3 years that a Rob Young team has made it to the A event final. I'm sure he would have liked to have put it over the finish line this time, being this is his last year. But what a terrific effort by the Plainfield team. We are now going to switch over to sheet C because this is becoming a bit of a trial here, trying to get any kind of shot here for O'Reilly. And you know, it's fine when these games aren't timed the way they are, but you really got to get moving when it's like this. Just make up your mind. It looks like, Joe, he is trying to run the red into the yellow, into the yellow. My goodness. There's no easy shot here.
No, it's Hail Mary to a certain
Yeah,
extent,
pretty
so
much. This is Aaron Rodgers dropping back and throwing it in the end zone.
Yeah, let's hit something and hope that the end result will be fine. The sweepers are on it.
And he's ticked off the red and rebounded into the other yellow. Fantastic. Just got a note here from Karen Ness. You know, I didn't even mention this, but interesting story about the Nutmeg team. Jake grew up in Minnesota and was telling a story earlier today about how his mother, who grew up in Bemidji, used to babysit, of all people, Pete Fenson, and never made the connection that maybe we should get into curling. So, Jake, we're glad you're here finally. We're going to blame your mother for not starting earlier. Taking pictures now on sheet B of the runners-up and the winning team. I tell you, Joe, to get through a field of 32 teams, that's a lot. You know, you need a lot of things you need to curl well, obviously, and you need to rest, and you need to, you know, have a clear strategy going in, but you also need to have a few breaks. And you know, they all fell on the right way for both of these teams on sheet B. But in the end, I think it was that call where they could have sat on those two stones behind the tee line that turned and did not do that. That turned the tide for Nutmeg. And we're just coming off the ice now. Congratulations once again to Team Nutmeg.
Hey guys, come on. You got it. You got it.
And over on sheet A, we've been ignoring for a while. We have Broomstones out ahead of the another Nutmeg team. They're leading 7-4 in the 7th end.
Yes, thanks, Jeff. We have been ignoring sheet A. We've been plugging right along here. Nutmeg got 2 in the 5th to make it close at 6-4. Broomstones fought back in the 6th to take 1. So it is now 7-4 Broomstones. Nutmeg with the hammer. And Broomstones is now sitting 1.
That is our second event final over on sheet A.
Shot is away on sheet A. Again, sheet A is on your left side, and that's a good hit, but it doesn't look like they're going to stick around. And that has hit the wall, which means it's out. So there is now nothing in the house. And I would imagine yellow Nutmeg wants to get 2 this end. And they're going to have to draw for both of them. So at this point, you know, it seems like it's going to be a race to see who gets behind these guards first. Broomstones has the shot now.
Seth, you're looking for the skip's name on, if you're looking for the skip's name on sheet A, Broomstones is Brendan Hurd. Nutmegs is, who's the skip over on sheet A for Nutmeg, Joe? Holme, is that? We'll check our notes here. So over on sheet A, the people in the green Ninja Turtles shirts, that's Broomstones. The skip is Brendan Hurd. Third is Lauren Richard. The second is Patrick Martin. And the lead is Heather Profrock. And I'm getting the lineup for the Nutmeg team over on sheet A. The home rink is Nate Holme, Ryan Hyde, Stephen Dulski, Andy Boone, and their 5th is Chris Liu.
Hi, Marcy. Mark Steffenhofer won the C event earlier today, so he is off the ice victorious. It is the other Bucks team on sheet C. Looking up the
Bucks
names
team
now.
on sheet C. That's Skip Steve Turner. His vice is Dave Abramson. Second is Bill Reuter. And the lead is Dave Reuter.
Broomstones is trying to draw down, and it looks like it's, oh, it went past. A little bit on the outside.
We would know all these names because they're written on the placards up above the sheets, and we figured we could probably see them. But then we realized all three of us are blind.
Old.
And old. So we're scrambling here. Thanks for your patience. You know, Joe, I'm looking over here on sheet C, and it seems like every end is just tons of rocks in play. I gotta imagine that, you know, certainly if you're Ardsley, this has to be by design. But if you're winning, as is the case with Bucks, and granted they are now in the catbird seat with one counting. You kind of want to start to keep things clear.
Well, I mean, Nate's got the hammer, and yes, I mean, the front of the house is fairly well clogged up with red stones.
It's a tough call though, because it is the seventh end. It's getting close to the end. You probably do want to throw a guard here because they are only up by 2, despite all the drama in the last end. But it's a tough call to figure out like when to just keep it open and try for the hits. The other thing is you got to start trusting your teammates that they can make the hits. Never easy. Oh, we have handshakes, it looks like. No?
No, it looks like they're kicking rocks, but nope, they're just kicking rocks.
Okay. Got a little ahead of myself.
Missed the result. What was, we'll find out.
It is, oh, well, that's why. It's a 2 for yellow. So this is now really tightened up.
Heading into the 8th end. It's,
yes, so A.
Red has the hammer, and they're up 1.
So what's the strategy here on sheet A if you're yellow?
Steal.
You need to steal. You need to put up guards. You
Guards.
need to get behind them.
Yes.
You need to keep rocks in play.
Looks like over on sheet C that yellow is behind cover sitting second. And the shot stone is also behind cover, red.
Yeah, it looked like that last shot opened things up quite a bit inside the house on C.
We'll follow C for a little while until we get past the guard stones here on A. Although I don't want to diminish the importance of these stones here, particularly if you are Nutmeg. They have to be in play and they have to be a guard. And it looks like the Nutmeg lead has delivered with a really good shot. It would have been nice to put that more in the middle, but boy, those guards are important right now. This looks like a good effort by Bucks, and they are going to be fourth stone. It stopped earlier than I think they thought, but that is going to be in the way. Jeff, do you think there's a way to come around the opposite end on our screen, left to right, and maybe run the red back?
On the in-charge side, well, it's... Yeah, I think that's there. It is a long run back, a long angle run.
Yeah, it's tough either way.
Just right.
You know, and Nate finds himself in these pickles all the time because frankly, Bucks is making really good weight shots, really good draws, and they're keeping a lot of stones in play.
Yeah, it looks like Nate is attempting to clear out those center guards,
He's trying to clean
those
things
higher
up.
guards, which is a smart move.
This is the right shot for sure.
Higher guards, which is a smart
That's got to be a heavier shot, I think, from Meg. Let's see
Yeah,
if
the
she's
line
put
looks
enough,
good. It's a little light for a double peel.
She's got the red one out of there. That'll help. That'll help.
Yep, gets rid of one of them.
It would be nice to get both.
Nutmeg just put up another center guard. About a 2 center guard, which
That is a very, very good effort by their lead on Nutmeg. Huge, huge shots. Can't emphasize that enough. They are now set up. Now the winner is really going to be made by who gets around those guards first on sheet A. Especially with the 5 rock rule, Joe. You can't really hit those out anytime soon.
it's coming around the line. Seems to be pretty good on the shot, but
Should come as no surprise to anyone here at Ardsley, but Shaloub
it's
is
gonna be
ripping
pretty.
on Sablo here online. Not really, not too bad. The run back. You
shot.
special run back guide? Is there a story here?
no, not really. It's just there's sometimes there are shots that the skip doesn't want to make because they're chicken, or they question their abilities to make those pinpoint accurate shots.
So there is a story.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying, you know.
Okay. All right, it's thrown.
The shot could be made. I can't make it, but the shot could be made. I can't make it. The shot could be made.
So the draw attempt by Broomstones over on sheet A sailed through the house.
That's a big miss by Broomstones. Let's see if Nutmeg can capitalize.
And
Stones
there-
away on A, and it looks like it's going to wreck on the front guard, and hopefully they'll stay in play, and they do. So it's not a terrible result. It does further gum up things for Broomstones. It would have been nice to draw one in there, Jeff.
Yeah, that was plan A all along, was to draw one in. This gives them a little more to hide behind if they are able to get in there.
So now enough rocks have been thrown so you can start taking these yellow ones out. And that's why it was another bad miss. But, that looks like red is going to nose that and stick around. So that is, I would call that a miss. Because there's still time to get around.
It, it changes the color of the high guard, but the guard still helps the Nutmeg team.
All right, Nate is running down the ice. He's made his call here on sheet C. C, by the way, is still on your right. And again, we've got just a whole mess of stones here in the way for Bucks County.
Into a serious mess.
It really is. You know, one of the hardest things for skips to learn, and you spend our whole life learning them, everybody does, is how to not put yourself in these situations where you have just a lot of things going on in the house. You know, it seems like every time Nate bends over a rock, there's 2 or 3 stones in the way of what it is he wants to do. And that's as much to do with Bucks County, good weight calls and just leaving rocks in play. Nate is going to get one out of the way, but he's not going to be able to get everything done here.
And while we were watching C, A seemed to have snuck in. Nutmeg snuck in a stone behind. It's partly buried, but
It looks to be about half buried.
Oh, look at this.
And a little fall
and
there.
They
by
have
Lauren.
knocked that Yellowstone out of there. What a shot
Nice run back.
by Broomstones.
body
Fantastic.
English too on the switch.
She's fine, looks like. Laughing it off, but man, that was a long run back he just made.
Yeah, I don't know if the call was for a run back or if they were trying to come around that and chip it out.
I don't know what it was, but it worked.
But it was a good result either way.
So this is an interesting call here, Joe. He's trying to come around the outside in on the draw, and I'm wondering if there isn't a way to get it through the port on the other side. But let's see what this stone does. It is starting to draw away from the wall a little bit later in this game. The shot is away, and it is now reaching the hog line just about. It looks, the way it looks close, and it is starting to break. Look at this. You know, from there, that's a really good effort. Really good effort. And they're really putting the pressure on Broomstones now. The shot is away on sheet C. This is Broomstones, skip stones. And remember, yellow has the hammer on sheet C, O'Reilly. And Broomstones just made it easier for O'Reilly. He could get out of this. Well, that guard just moved over like you're parting the Red Sea here, and there is a chance that O'Reilly can make a double here, but he's got to hit it just right. If he does, he gets one and escapes. The way it stands right now, Red would get one. So, you know, O'Reilly came out of this a lot better than I would have thought a few shots ago.
I think he's sort of saving himself as far as this goes, hopefully.
Yeah, they've given him an out. And you know what? If you want to win these events with lots and lots of teams, you got to take advantage of these little breaks. He's lining up the double right now. Now remember, O'Reilly is down. He's down more. Yeah, he's down two. So what do you do here? I mean, the most he gives up here, if he tries to run that back, is one. But then he gets the hammer, and he's down 3. If he hits it and he makes it, he gets 1. You know, he's got to try to hit the double. He really doesn't have a choice here. I think all of that decision-making has to do with where he needs to hit that top stone in order to get both of them out. Now, he doesn't have to throw so much weight so that they completely leave the house, but he does have to get that lead stone, the one he's hitting first, to touch blue. So he is going to have to throw some weight, which we know he can do. The hard part is throwing enough weight and keeping the stone on line.
He's got the broom right on the rock, so he is planning to throw a lot of weight.
And Broomstones is making a comeback here on sheet A. Meanwhile, they've got a counting stone now in the back, and they are now delivering. Looks to be they've wrecked the guard. Well, they've really given Nutmeg a break here. So similar to sheet C. The one thing you can't do is hit the guard out of the way. This is a little bit of an easier shot than the one that O'Reilly's going to throw over on C. But they are lining up for the takeout. Nutmeg is on sheet A. And there goes O'Reilly, and he is throwing some serious weight.
Looks pretty good. Oh, jams on his own.
He has jammed on his own. He's hit it on the wrong side, and that is going to be 2 red. Oh, what a killer. What a killer. And they are down 4 with 1 end to play. And they should play it. You know, you never know. But that was a good attempt. He just hit it on the wrong side of the stone.
It is a 5 and under, and has been a long weekend, so anything can happen.
They've got to play this last end, though. They can't pretend like they've already lost. They've still got to play. The nutmeg stone is off on sheet A, and he's trying to pull it through this port that Broomstones just gifted him. And let's see if he can pull it off. They are yelling hard for this thing to be swept, and he has made it through. And he is going to just touch and count. Wow. Well, to get through that port took a lot of good sweeping by Nutmeg, and they are now counting. But, Joe, everything is behind the tee.
If it's behind the tee, it really doesn't count.
Maybe Walter Baggett is listening. That's a devastating blow for Ardsley on sheet C. Bucks has got to be feeling pretty good. They did make a bit of a mistake. But it wasn't a killer. You know, they're making O'Reilly make hard shots. Shot is away on A. It is just crossing the hog line, and it is crashing. But there's a good result in a way in that they are covering anything down the middle with that miss. This is going to be interesting now. Are they going to be able to draw around all of this? They are currently sitting 1-2, and it is now this is it. This is the last stone for yellow. They are sitting 2. If he guards it, that wouldn't be such a bad result. And red, Broomstones, with that last miss, he has to draw through all of this garbage to save the game. So this is quite a finish here on sheet A. So Nutmeg's really taking their time here. They know what's going on. All right, shot is away, and let's wait.
You can hear the sweepers saying they think it's a little frosty.
That's to be expected, and it is a good shot, Jeff.
Nice
that is
guard.
going to be right in the right place, right where they wanted it. That is a money shot.
It doesn't leave Broomstones much of
Any
opportunities.
Yeah, they're going to have they have a very long tap.
I'm just going to look out on the sheet here. They could get through that port there in the front between the two red stones on your screen to the left of the center line.
They could
That's
also
there.
come around
I think that's their shot.
through the port.
They put it looks like they're putting the broom right behind the yellow stone and hoping for a big curl. Either that or they're trying to tap up the red.
They must be going for the tap with that broom.
It is a long race, but if they do hit it right, it could work.
Yeah, the draw is there, but it have to be perfect.
Yeah.
The tap has a little bit more room for error, so I understand the call. Boy, this is it. Last stone.
They do have some backing with the tap. If they can tap it
Stone is
straight
away. Stone is away. Let's see if they can pull it off. It looks close, and it is going to be wide, and that is it. Nutmeg has taken
The B event.
the B event. And that is a big comeback for them. You know, they were down pretty much the whole game. They gave up 4 in the first end, and they hung in there all the way through. They never gave up. Steal 2 in the 8th to take the win. What a huge comeback victory for Nutmeg. Congratulations. It's a tough loss for Broomstones. They played very well, had a very good week. Congratulations to both teams. Nutmeg pulls it off on sheet A, and now they are the winners of the A event and the B event. Wow, what a game that was, Joe. That was no joke.
That came down to the wire. It was quite exciting.
Steal and 2 in the 8th.
Okay, and looks like Ardsley might be running. They're two stones down.
Well,
down 8-4, so
they're just running them out of rocks here. They need
points, and they need to stick around.
They need the other team to miss some takeouts, basically. This is an uphill battle. They know it. Jim Bilodeau has thrown his second stone, and it looks like he's hitting. That is a good takeout.
And it's a good angle on it.
And it will not stick around. That's a miss. Everything has got to be in the house here. Everything.
Everything's got to count at this point in time.
How many stones do we have left on sheet C for yellow? Can you count? Can you see that far? Probably.
It was Jim's second shot, so that was 4 stones down. There's
4 left.
There's 2 out there.
We've still got 1 to count. Broomstones is leaving the ice on the second event, and here come our winners. Nutmeg, what a come from behind victory. Boy, they earned that. And shot is away on sheet C. It looks like they are just loading up the house here, Joe, making them hit.
They're going to sit on their Yellowstone. That's going to be hard to get out.
That's a really good shot.
Really
you know, people always just play better when there's no pressure on them, right? They're just laying it in there.
Just keep applying pressure until somebody's got to make a mistake.
So as this game wraps up, I just want to thank again all of the volunteers at Ardsley that have put this together, including the people to my left and right, Joe Sablow, our president, and Jeff Greenberg, a board member. I want to thank Tim Klein and Dave Schroll for all the ice work, and we want to thank the legions of people that helped with all the food and the festivities. And in particular, we want to thank the chairs of the event, Nick Beaton,
Dan
Gerlach,
Susan Gerlach,
and Susan.
And the little addition to the Gerlach
and
family.
Baby Gerlach.
Baby Gerlach, yes. They really did a big job. And it's a lot of pressure putting these things on, and a lot of work, a lot of teams this year. We are so glad that everybody came and had a good experience. We had great weather. Couldn't have been a better situation.
Yeah, and while we're saying thanks, I just want to mention the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which will be on November 23rd. Come out, march in the New Rochelle Thanksgiving Day Parade. We're working on the float right now. And
we have a float?
Oh, we have a giant curling stone, which we're going to be parading with.
Fantastic. It's in New Rochelle, and there's a free pancake breakfast.
Free pancake breakfast at 8 o'clock beforehand, so come out. First 30 people who sign up get the Ardsley curling hat, which is online. You can see it. It's quite a warm headgear. Warm headgear.
Okay, Redstone is looks like it's gonna rest in the back, maybe out of play. You know, Joe, Ardsley is not out of this yet. They can just lay a bunch of stones out here, counting, and hope for 2 more misses. They've got a chance. Because that yellow stone that you see in the foreground is counting, I believe. It's close. But if he just loads up this one and sits on top of the red stones, or even above it, maybe on the top 4 or something like that, they're still in this.
the stone is off.
It'll come into your screen momentarily. They're not sweeping it. They think it's heavy. Joe, that's going to work out just fine.
That's good placement.
Okay. These are money shots for Ardsley, so Meg delivered there.
Yeah, unfortunately, with everything behind the tee line, that is a very big wall to draw down to. It looks like Bucks is just going to keep piling them onto that. And if they are successful, then the most Ardsley could get is one.
Yeah, you're right. You know, they just draw one in there in the way. Ardsley's going to have a tough time. I mean, obviously you like Buck's chances here, you know, with that big end in the seventh to steal two. That pretty much turned the game on its heel. And They put a lot of rocks in play the whole time, and it just felt like when O'Reilly was sitting over the stones ready to throw his shots, they never gave him anything. Bucks' weight has been good, and anytime they throw a takeout, they always manage to stick around.
Yeah, I don't remember Nate having any open draws to score. Yeah, I don't remember Nate having
Rock should be coming into view.
Okay, here comes Bucks' shot. It looks heavy, Joe.
It does.
It does, but it just
that is what they
settles in.
don't want to do. They did not want that.
So it's still the Yellowstone counting.
That's one of those things where you've got to remind yourself, as we stated earlier, is it better to be heavier or lighter? And you didn't want to be heavy there. You know, the other interesting thing, Joe, is when the other teams leave the ice, the texture of the ice for the remaining team changes immediately. And typically it gets slower. So we'll have to see if that comes into play here at all. Looks like O'Reilly is staring at the back of the house somewhere. I'm kind of hoping that he leaves one up top. Maybe
not sure what
eight
he's
foot
thinking
or top four, just behind that guard. But you know, Bucks has really run him ragged here. They've made every end difficult for him.
Yeah, he is going to need to remove those reds.
Well, hopefully he could tap the red, sit on the red, move him back a little bit on the first shot. It looks like though with the positioning of the back red,
I think you wait for that. You've got to count now.
Right. You could also lose. You can lose one of the stones.
Regardless, in order for Ardsley to have a chance here, Broomstones has to miss badly because they're running out of stones. And they need 4. And they've got 2 in there. So you know that they're going to have to somehow try to remove those red stones.
Yes, they've only got 1 stone counting and 2 stones remaining.
So it looks like he's planning on hitting the...
He's going to try it now. He's going to try to hit now and hope for a miss. I mean, at this point, it's whatever you feel most comfortable doing. You've got to make a...
You have to make a decision.
You have to make a decision. And I don't even know if this shot is here because, the yellow's behind the red one.
Well, probably, if anything, they might lose that stone.
They can't. They need 4.
Yeah, that front red's pretty well locked in there.
They are sweeping this pretty heavily.
Oh, and that's going to do it.
Spilled them out.
And that will
looks like the
spill
game.
out. That'll spill out. And that's it. Handshakes. That concludes the Cool Duck 2019 Cool Duck from Ardsley. Thanks again to all 32 teams for coming. We have a winner on sheet C. It is Bucks County over Ardsley in a hard-fought game. Thanks again to all of the volunteers and all of the teams that come here and make this a great success.
And we hope to be here again next year and do it again.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.